The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The business news headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible.
Culture's comeback, Antigua's fiscal turnaround, and China's investment slide. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Friday, September 19, 2025. I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast, locally, from devastation to transformation, Jamaica's agriculture hits record output, becoming a magnet for big-ticket investments. On the regional front, Antigua and Barbuda post fiscal surplus. Debt nears ECCB benchmark even as fiscal committee sounds caution. And over on the global stage, foreign direct investment into China falls 12.7%, though high-tech sectors continue to attract billions. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the CBX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why CBX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Don't ever, ever, ever wanna calm down. No, no, no.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments.
Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with major developments out of the Jamaica Agribusiness Investment Forum, which wrapped up today. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says the sector has turned a decisive corner, posting record output levels and securing billions in private investment. A clear signal that farming is no longer defined by setbacks, but by growth and opportunity. Speaking earlier today at the Jamaica Agribusiness Investment Forum in Montego Bay, St. James, Green revealed that despite suffering a $7 billion loss in 2024 from Hurricane Beryl and torrential rains, the industry roared back to life in early 2025.
I can say to you that in January to March of this year, we were already back to growth in agriculture. What used to happen, and we can look at our past experiences after Hurricane Ivan, it took us maybe 2 years 2.5 years to get back to those production levels. Not only did we get back to growth in the January to March quarter, but in that January to March quarter, we reached our highest levels of production ever recorded in Jamaica in that quarter. And that was 221,000 tons. But we didn't stop there, because we surpassed that. And for the first time in our history, in a quarter, we passed 230,000 tons in our April to June quarter.
Minister Green says this resilience is being underpinned by major capital inflows.
Investment. I could speak about Caribbean Broilers Group and their $15 billion investment in the nest, bringing in the first air-chilled facility in this region. Or I could speak about the Jamaica Broilers Group, and right before the general election, the Prime Minister and I were cutting a ribbon with Jamaica Broilers for $8 million US investment in LNG to ensure that what they do more efficiently. I think we are truly now on the cusp of really recognizing and realizing the true potential of our agricultural sector.
Meanwhile, Jamaica has rolled out its first ever agribusiness deal book, a catalog of bankable projects designed to attract fresh capital into farming, fisheries, and agro-processing. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says the Green Book is a game changer for how investors approach the sector.
Yesterday we would have launched our deal book. It was one of the set targets for this forum that people who come to this event would be able to leave with a practical guide that shows you structured investment-ready opportunities across crops, livestock, fisheries, agro-processes. Tells you a little bit about what you will take to invest, what would the returns on those investments look like, where are the opportunities in terms of land for you to make those investments, and who could do those hand-holding services to marshal you through those investments.
That was Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Floyd Green. And Jamaica's agricultural sector is at the center of a new financing push, with public and private partners outlining bold strategies to unlock capital and reduce risks for investors. Speaking during a panel discussion at the Agribusiness Investment Forum on Thursday, leaders from the Development Bank of Jamaica DBJ, Agro Invest Corporation, the World Bank, the Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE, and the Exim Bank of Jamaica underscored that partnerships remain the key to transforming agriculture into a bankable investment-ready industry. DBJ Managing Director David Lowe says the institution is targeting 3 pillars to leverage partnerships to attract private investments in Jamaica's agricultural industry.
So it begins with our partnerships locally and internationally. We try to find ways to build capacity. So if there's a leverage that's required to create financial literacy, say for farmers, as we've just done recently with RADO. The second thing is how we transmit capital through the formal system. And the context of that, again, is working with our local banks. The cost of funds continues to be a challenge to bring it down below double digits on a consistent basis to make accessibility possible. So that's another construct in our partnerships. And then the third thing is, as we said, trying to see how we can also bring other sorts of training opportunities through our association to build bankable businesses.
That was DBJ Managing Director David Lowe. Meanwhile, Senior Agriculture Representative at the World Bank, Kilara Soot, says unlocking private investment in Jamaica's agriculture requires a multifaceted approach.
One of the big things is risk mitigation. So we use blended finance at the World Bank for risk mitigation. So some of you might have heard of some of the initiatives like GAFSP, the Global Agriculture and Food Security Programme. They have a new business investment financing track, which I think is very relevant for the type of attendees here at the forum. This is really concessional financing tools, so guarantees, first loss facilities, also helping sort of commercial capital to de-risk investments in underserved agricultural sectors.
That was Senior Agriculture Representative at the World Bank, Kilara Soot. And the CEO of the Exim Bank of Jamaica, Errol Barnaby, says agribusiness remains a top priority for the bank in its financing strategy, with the sector receiving the lion's share of loan disbursements over the past 5 years.
Exim Bank is Jamaica's premier trade finance institution. We are the only institution that focuses exclusively on providing financing and supporting the growth of local businesses, whether they're in the productive sector or in other trade. Nonetheless, the agribusiness, the agro-processors, and the agribusiness players are part of our clientele. We have disbursed over more than 40% for the last 5 years of our loans to the agribusiness sector. Last 2 years, we have seen over 55% of our disbursement is in the agro-processors, manufacturers, etc.
That was CEO of the Exim Bank of Jamaica, Errol Barnaby. We go now to updates from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. In Friday's currency trading session, the US dollar is selling for $160.76, the Canadian for $117.93, the pound sterling for $218.85, and the going rate for the euro is $188.42. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities markets. In Friday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 102 stocks, of which 47 advanced, 35 declined, and 20 traded firm. Leading the winners are Jamaica Public Service Company 7%, Epley Limited, MFS Capital Partners, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers. While leading the losers are Productive Business Solution USD Ordinary Shares, MPC Caribbean Clean Energy, 138 Student Living Jamaica Variable Preference, and the Limnas and Bards. The main index advanced by 1.30 points to close at 318,730.33 points. The junior market index, however, declined by 14.13 points to close at 3,401.02 points.
And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard.
In today's Market Education Feature, we're looking at the term convertible currency. A convertible currency is a nation's official money that can be freely exchanged on the foreign exchange market with little or no restrictions. Because they are liquid and widely accepted, they are often called hard currencies. Only a handful of currencies fall into this category. Typically, those from countries with strong and stable economies. The most widely traded are the US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yen, and the British pound.
The Market Education Feature was brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next.
The local news is brought to you by Diamond Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. Antigua and Barbuda's economy has delivered one of the Caribbean's strongest turnarounds, according to the Fiscal Responsibility Oversight Committee, FROC. In its latest review, the watchdog credited robust growth and improved fiscal management for propelling the country from deficit to surplus, while warning that risks remain. Deputy Chair of the FROC, Professor Justin Robinson of the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus told the Cabinet that gross domestic product expanded by about 6% in 2024, the fastest in the region outside Guyana. Inflation eased to roughly 5 to 6%, while the labor market expanded to nearly 49,000 jobs. The fiscal picture showed the most striking change. After recording a deficit of EC $91.9 million in 2023, the government posted a surplus of EC $86.4 million in 2024, a swing of EC $178.3 million, or roughly EC $1,900 per person. Antigua and Barbuda also registered a primary surplus for the first time since 2016, helping to push public debt down to 62.3% of GDP, just shy of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's 60% target. Guyana has taken a major leap in border management and digital public services with the rollout of its new e-passport and automated border control systems. Speaking during a press conference on Wednesday, President Dr. Irfan Ali says the upgrades have significantly improved airport and border security, delivering more accurate and reliable traveler verification.
We have to be compliant with international standard from a security perspective, from a technology perspective, so that our documents are secured. And you've seen that we have been gaining places globally in terms of our passport recognition. And all of this have to do also with the safety mechanism and system that support our border control, our e-gate system. And we have to ensure that our system is rigid and strong enough to identify threats and to, in a proactive way, give information to deal with those threats.
That was President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali. In other news, Trinidad and Tobago's 2025 Deepwater Competitive Bidding Round has closed with just 4 bids submitted for 26 offshore blocks on offer. The round, which officially ended on Thursday after a nearly 3-month extension, included 13 blocks carried over from the 2021 exercise. While investor appetite remained muted, Energy Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ernesto Quesar, described the outcome as a success. CNOOC, China's state-owned energy giant, bid for 3 blocks, TTDAA 24, 25, and 30, while Nigerian company STIT Energy partnered with Ground Ports Consortium for TTDAA-5. Kesar says he was encouraged by the new entrance to TNT's upstream sector and pledged a speedy review of submissions, with results to be announced within 3 months. Acknowledging the country's fierce competition for global exploration dollars, Kesar stressed that the government would urgently review fiscal incentives to strengthen TNT's position as a hydrocarbon province. Successful bidders will be granted production sharing contracts of up to 10 years, extendable to 25 years in the event of commercial discovery. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 15 securities, of which 3 advanced, 5 declined, and 7 traded firm. Today's winners are Trinidad and Tobago NGL, Point Lissa's Industrial Port Development Corporation, and First Citizens Group Financial Holdings. While leading the losers are Angostura Holdings, JMMB Group, Grace Kennedy Limited, and Republic Financial Holdings. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All TNT Index declined by 8.87 points to close at 1,414.24. The Composite Index declined by 5.12 points to close at 983.68. The cross-listed index declined by 0.15 points to close at 73.23. The SME index declined by 0.01 points to close at 100.64. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
Let's all get fit. This summer set drip. Hip dips and split. Power in the mind, let's get healthy with it. Sometimes your body's so hard, but your body wants it. And then your head is so hard, and it's so like this. So we gotta go 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. One more now. 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3, go.
FESCO started from 5 shareholders who believed that they could execute a fuel company as good as or as better than any multinational. The director shareholders always believed that the dealers within our network should be owners of the company. They believe that staff should be owners of the company. And specifically also believe that the public should become shareholders. That cannot be facilitated by a bank loan. Our experience so far has translated into additional customers. Our transparency has allowed us to access credit easier and at better rates. So if you're a private company thinking about growing your profits, having better access to capital, I really think you should consider listing on the junior or the main market. Go ahead, have that conversation as soon as possible. We did it and we're very happy.
Okay, I just sent the money. I'll WhatsApp you the tracking number.
Thanks, Daddy. I can't wait to buy that PS5.
Listen to me. Your birthday money is not just for spending. Remember what I told your mom? Remember to open the bank account immediately after collecting the money. Your mom has her ID, TRN, proof of address, proof of income, and your school ID.
I'm not an adult yet, so Mommy will have to open the account with me.
Yes. Anyways, I'm headed back to work, so call me later. I love you guys.
This financial literacy tip is brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, promoting financial inclusion. For more information, visit our BOJ Real Talk playlist on our YouTube channel.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And now for the international news.
Foreign direct investment into China fell 12.7% year-on-year to 506.58 billion yuan in the first 8 months of 2025, reflecting global economic uncertainty. The services sector remained dominant, attracting 336.19 billion yuan, while high-tech industries brought in 148.28 billion yuan. E-commerce, aerospace, and pharmaceuticals led the gains. Notably, investment from Japan, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom increased, showing that foreign appetite for China's advanced industries remains strong despite the overall downturn. And from China's capital flows, attention now turns to Washington, where U.S. regulators are weighing a major change in corporate reporting rules. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Paul Atkins says the agency will propose a rule change to move companies from mandatory quarterly earnings to semi-annual reporting, aligning with President Donald Trump's push. Atkins says the change would give firms flexibility to choose reporting cadence every 6 months or quarterly based on their operations and shareholders' needs. Foreign private issuers already follow semi-annual reporting in U.S. markets. Supporters argue the shift reduces compliance costs and frees companies to focus on long-term strategy. Critics counter the less frequent disclosure risk, eroding transparency and hiding key developments. Meanwhile, on Wall Street, investors shrug off these concerns, focusing instead on earnings, rate cuts, and U.S.-China diplomacy. U.S. stocks climbed to record highs Friday afternoon, lifted by strong corporate results, the Federal Reserve's first rate cut of 2025, and optimism on U.S.-China relations. The S&P 500 rose 0.3%, the Nasdaq 100 gained 0.5%, and the Dow added over 100 points, extending Thursday's all-time highs. FedEx rallied nearly 3% after beating earnings expectations, while Apple jumped 2.8% on a JP Morgan price target upgrade and its new iPhone release. Tesla added 1.5% after Biden upgraded the stock to outperform. Markets also welcomed news of a lengthy call between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, covering trade, fentanyl, and a potential TikTok deal. All three indexes remain on track for strong weekly gains. And beyond equities, the Fed's decision also shook currency and crypto markets, with risk sentiments taking a different turn. Wall Street's gain after the Fed's 25 basis point cut slipped into digital assets and foreign exchange markets. Bitcoin showed resilience, trading in the region of 116,000 to 117,000 US dollars, with analysts pointing to potential for a breakout as investors chase yield in alternate assets. The US dollar weakened initially after the Fed's decision, reflecting hopes that the rate may be peaked, but later rebounded as Chair Jerome Powell dismissed the idea of aggressive easing. The Indian rupee slid against the dollar, pressured by higher US yields, while the Canadian dollar also weakened following dovish guidance from its own central bank. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. Please do stay with us. The news recap is on the other side of the break.
So much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
In the local news, Jamaica's agriculture hits record output, becomes magnet for big-ticket investments. Regionally, Antigua and Barbuda post fiscal surplus. Debt nears ECCB benchmark as FROC sounds caution. And internationally, China FDI falls 12.7% as high-tech sectors attract billions. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your soul.
Beckford. You're watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
Hi, I'm Carol Beckford, Sports Marketing Specialist. For all your in-depth news, views, and interviews and other financial information, tune in to CBX. Happy anniversary, CBX!